Renovation in France, the chimney stack gets varnished. So very quickly showing you a tin of varnish, although you can't see it because I've done it at speed. Because this was about 40-50 minutes worth of painting. I had to do it with a smallish brush because I'm trying to get as much into all the joints and nooks and crannies that the chimney stack has, rather than just running a roller over it and find that you've missed sort of 50% of the surface that you need to cover. So this has already had 2 lots of treatment with the PVA and water mix to stabilise the surface, and obviously before that I'd given it a damn good brushing down as well, so that get as much dust and stuff away, and any loose flaky bits that wanted to fall off came off fairly easily. And then it was just a question of starting to apply the varnish, which is a sort of satin based a water-based satin finish varnish, because it's water-based. You've got it sort of begins. It looks sort of white and milky to begin with, and then it dries clear, as you'd expect from a varnish. And sorry about the sort of the flashing light. That's actually the camera, I suppose, reacting to. That's just right by the Velux there, and I suppose it's reacting to me moving. And getting in the way of the light between the Velux, I suppose, and the camera itself. There you go, well up. So sorry about that. It's the first time I've seen this bit of footage as well, so maybe it's slightly better from there, that angle, maybe not. Slightly more interested than watching paint dry, but not much, to be honest with you. But it's just trying to, with all these videos, I've had a few comments where people have said, oh my God, I don't want to be watching you doing something for whatever, 15-20 minutes doing exactly the same thing. We want to see a broad overlay of things. But in fact, this is the reality of if you're renovating. Okay, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's kind of a lot of it's boring. It's worthwhile doing, and I've really enjoyed doing the renovation, but it's not the glossy skip through in 5 minutes and you see start to finish. The house transforms over a period of 12 months in sort of 10 minutes. That's not what I'm doing here. What I'm trying to do is show you more the reality of what a renovation is and the different aspects you have to consider when you're doing it, and whether you're going to utilize certain materials, whether you're going to keep some aspects of the house, whether you're going to try and disguise them, whether you're going to change them. So if you think, obviously prior to that, this I'd never really seen light of day, this chimney stack, because it was within the loft area, which had a very tiny roof window, the opposite side of the wall, the roof there. And obviously it was just a functional thing. The guys have just constructed it because back in the day you had open fires because it was the only way of heating a house. So it's got the functionality to it. Well, it's also got some sort of, although it's ugly, it's also got some beauty about it as well. I mean, the coloration of the mortar and the render over the years, it's really lovely, and I think it blends quite well with the colour that I've used on the walls, which is sort of a beigey colour, which you can kind of see, fairly neutral colour. But I did it in a satin finish, the walls, so that should work quite well with sort of satin finish of the varnish once the varnish is dried. And you've got a few bits and pieces there where you can still see the briquettes that we used to partially construct. I can't say that the entire chimney stack was made out of bricks or briquettes, because there's only small parts visible. I should imagine it'd be lots of different things that have been added in there, some chunks of stone, flint and whatever. And no, the stack itself is fairly well protected from any heat that's being pumped up from the wood burner, because it's got a metal flue running all the way up, right up to the top of the chimney pot. So that hopefully will stop any further degradation of the surface, particularly on the outside here, which obviously is now part of bedroom 2, and contrasts with the softer cob which is the soil and the straw on the other side, which make up the walls there. So this room's quite an interesting room. It's slightly longer, I think, than bedroom one, but slightly narrower. Um, but you can still easily get a sort of a double bed in there, presuming it's going to go up against the chimney stack there. So you'll see the top sort of 60% of the chimney stack, and the bottom area. There's a section on the left-hand side that is missing, or not necessarily missing, but it's been knocked out for whatever reason, and that needs tidying up. And as I've said before, I will be making some form of shelving either side of the stack, just so that that section all becomes this one level across, rather than it being you've got a recess on the left-hand side and a recess on the right-hand side, which all I've done is sort of brush them off to get the loose stuff away. But obviously once the shelving's in place, all that would then be well hidden and sealed off. Um, and so that's the view on this particular part of the renovation. And I just thought, I'd looked at it lots of times, and I just liked it from the first time I saw it, and thought it's an interesting feature, and it would be a pity just to have boarded over it and forgotten about it, which would have been the easier aspect to doing it. Would have been a whole lot quicker. But I think with that, then it kind of tells its own story. Anybody that's ever going to stay in that room, hopefully, will remember the unusual old chimney stack they slept against. Or am I getting too sentimental in my old age? Possibly. Anyway, that's that. I used the entirety of the tin. I've only given it one coat of varnish, to be honest, because I'd already given it two coats of the PVA, so it's fairly well sealed. And this was just an easier option for when it comes to cleaning, which would be something like a feather duster or whatever, or just the soft attachment on a Hoover or a vacuum cleaner, because there are still sort of some nooks and crannies, even though they've been filled with varnish and whatever. They're still going to possibly get a bit of dust and stuff in there. So need something that will, you wouldn't be able to just use a cloth on there or a duster on there to clean it off. You need to have something to get, if there's only going to be any dust settling or anything like that over the weeks, when it comes to sort of the weekly maintenance, the whatever you on the bedrooms or the changeovers, then it'll need to have, let's say, a feather dust is probably the easiest way of getting the distracting the dust from the area, and then obviously hoovering around the bottom area of it. So that's that. So that's the cleaning aspect of it as well considered. I have condensed this section down. Like I say, it is a bit marginally better than watching paint dry, but it is still like watching paint dry. And then just shortly after the whole thing's been done, you can see the bottom left-hand side that's going to need some sort of repair putting in there. It won't be in stonework. It'll probably be in a bit of plasterboard or whatever. Just close it off, or it'll be a part of the shelving. But the coloration is, I think, the coloration is fabulous on that. You can't see it fully there because it's still got the sort of the milky color of the varnish where it hasn't dried. But in the next clip, you'll see it where it's all been sort of dried off. And very, very pleased with the overall look of it. And that's it contrasting against, so you've got the light on it from the Velux, and then you're contrasting against the beige on the walls. And obviously the other side there, you've got the sloped roof, that's in white, and then below it you've got the beige again. So you can see it's sort of a longish, thin room. And here we are. So that's now, the varnish is now dried, the white milkiness has gone, and you're left with this rather nice, warm-toned, golden, what would you say, sandy-coloured finish texture to the wall. And then you've got a few aspects of it there where you can see sections of brickwork which make up the chimney stack. I find it quite interesting. Probably everybody else finds it super boring, but it's there, and it will remain there, and it will remain an integral part of the house, of the appearance of the internals of the house. And you can obviously let me know what you think. Do you think it's ugly, or do you think it's beautiful in its own way? Is it its own piece of modern art? Perhaps it is. Right, so near to the end of this video as usual. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Comments really do help a lot with the channel, pushing the algorithm. And I'll see you on the next video.